Okay, sit yourself onto your left and come into a good cross-legged position. Have a little wriggle about and then hold onto your knees. Hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just spend a few moments taking conscious, deep inhalations, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. We think we breathe all the time, and of course we do breathe all the time, and there would be a problem if we didn't, but when we consciously take in these deeper breaths, it suddenly makes the brain feel a little sharper. Just as you inhale, observe whether you're breathing evenly into both lungs or you're breathing into one lung more than the other. And seek to adjust if you are breathing into one lung more than the other. Just look at something that doesn't move. And then release your hands. Bring your hands into Namaste. Press the palms firmly together. Lengthen from your armpits into your elbows. And then allow your eyes to gently close. Filling your lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. I'm afraid we may be enjoying the sound of drilling through our session this morning because next door is having their new kitchen put in. So I hope that doesn't disturb you too much. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin and spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Express silent thankfulness for having that place or that thing or that person in your life. And then draw another into your mind's eye. Express silent gratitude and just something else that brings you positive energy in your life. Expressing silent gratitude, holding each of these things in your heart area. Just one more. expressing quiet gratitude. And then hold that gratitude, that feeling of abundance in the heart area. Hold on to that feeling as you release the backs of your hands down toward your knees with the thumbs in contact with the index fingers. Just a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry with us along with the abundance of gratitude into our practice as an intention. Raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open, and then hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation, and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across. Your abdomen and your ribs and your shoulders. Using the exhalation to turn a little more deeply. Just observing how your body responds. Observing whether the seat bones remain level or you draw your weight over to the right side. Just bring the torso between the two hips so that the seat bones are level, so that they feel lighter. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Maintaining that levelness of the seat bones, digging the back hand into the floor so that you remain on the front edge of the seat bones. And then gently come back to the center. Just come off your lift and then sit back on your heels. Press the big toes into the floor. Press the shins into the floor. Press the shin bones into the floor. The shin bones into the shin skin into the ground. So that the thighs activate, so that the heart area can elevate. Keep the seat bones in contact with your heels and come forward into Adho Mukha Virasana. Come into the pose with sensitivity. Just feeling your way into the pose. And observe how it feels. Bring the forehead down onto the floor. If your head doesn't reach the floor, put a block underneath it. Aim to keep the seat bones in contact with the heels. It grounds the forward extension. So without connection between the seat bones and the heels, there's no grounding to the pose. So can you continue to hit the seat bones down onto the heels? If they're a million miles away, and put a folded blanket between the seat bones and the heels, or a block, just so that you've got somewhere to hit back into. Then your extension becomes deeper. Press the hands into the floor, squeeze the outer elbows in, lengthen from the hands into the wrists, into the elbows, into the armpits, into the hips. Lengthen from the hips into the hands. Lift your head, come up onto fingertips, keep the chest lifted, and then walk your hands over to the right side. It'll be more difficult to keep the seat bones down, but try. Keep the head lifted and lengthen into the arms, especially that left arm, stretching out that left side of the torso. Keeping the head lifted, keeping the heart area lifted, keeping the chest level with the floor. Lengthening into the seat bones, lengthening into the arms. Feel that tremendous stretch along that left side of the body. Walk your hands back to the centre. Just come back into Adho Mukha Virasana proper. Just feel that you are level on the floor. And then lift your head, come up onto the fingertips, and then stretch over into the left. Bring your hands over to the left. Keep the fingers stay on the fingertips. Keep lengthening into the seat bones, lengthening from the hands into the seat bones, lengthening that right side of the torso. Feeling the length of the side of the torso, keeping the head lifted, keeping the chest parallel to the floor, hitting the seat bones down towards the heels even if they don't stay. Okay, and then walk your hands back to the centre, press your hands into the floor, come back into Adho Mukha Virasana. And then push your hands into the floor and then sit yourself up. Just come back up onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Observe how you opened up the energy of the upper body. Just listening to the breath. Stretch your arms out in front, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then raise your arms over your head. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, lengthening up to the ceiling with the arms, squeezing the outer elbows in, and then turn to the right side, keeping your arms lengthening up towards the ceiling. Turn to the right, and then come back to the centre, and then turn to the left. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Come back to the centre and then raise your, lower your arms. Just release your hands. Just feel the warmth in the shoulders. Feel that energy that you release in the shoulders. I'm just going to come forward a little bit. So you need some mat behind you. Walk your hands behind you so that your hands are underneath your shoulders, fingers pointing forwards. Spread the fingers, point the fingers towards the knees, and then straighten your arms. Lift from the wrists up into the elbows, up into the armpits. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Pressing the palms into the floor, lifting up into the armpits. You might just want to stay here, just lifting the chest this way, or turn the tailbone in, sliding the buttocks down the heels, and then maybe lift the seat bones up off the floor. Keep the hands, the wrists up into the armpits, and then lengthen into the palm, lengthen into the chin. Press the hands into the floor, lengthen from the wrists into the armpits. Turn the tailbone in. And then come back down onto your seat bones. And then come back. Just sit back on your heels. Just again feeling the energy in your arms. The energy in the legs. How the body becomes transformed through extension. Come up onto your knees, have your hands as wide apart as the mat, turn your toes under, step back a little, and your feet as wide apart as the mat. And then come up into dog down. Breathe even deep inhalations and exhalations, tightening the kneecaps, pressing the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling, keep the palms pressing into the floor and hit the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs so that you lengthen out the spine. Keeping the breath deep and soft. Keeping the palms pressing into the floor. Keeping the jaw soft, keeping the tongue soft, breathing evenly into both lungs. So today I can feel that my breath is naturally moving into one lung rather than the other, so I have to consciously breathe into both. Feel how the chest expands in 3 dimensions with the in-breath and relaxes with the out-breath in 3 dimensions. Just focusing on your breath. Just feel that there is an evenness of action innately within the limbs. But I use the word innately, but maybe it's not innate and you have to consciously observe and adjust so that there is an evenness of internal action. Draw your attention into the physical body. Draw your attention into the breath. Observe how your body is consciously activating or not, and bring consciousness to the areas where there isn't consciousness, and bring evenness of action where there isn't. So go to the thigh muscles, the fronts of the thighs. Is the left thigh muscle working evenly with the right, or is there an imbalance? Okay, step your feet forwards. Just come up into a standing position and get a couple of blocks for your hands. And then bring your feet as wide apart as your mat. And then come forwards, hinging at the hips, finding the blocks for your hands. Make sure that your heels are touching the edge of the mat, that your toes are in line with each other, that you're activating your legs like you were doing in dog down, projecting the chin and the chest and the spine away from the legs. Hit your weight back into your heels, hit the shins back into your heels. If you can go down lower, then do, but never go in further into the pose at the expense of extension. Prize the extension. It's what brings us energy. But if you're too keen to go down to the floor, for example, without observation, then you lose the pose, you lose the extension, you lose the energy that you get from the pose. So value extension over moving more deeply into the pose. Project the spine away from the legs, keeping the head lifted, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, keeping the backs of the knees open by pressing the fronts of the knees towards them. And then bring your hands into your hips, and then slowly come up into a standing position. Okay, come down, fold over the left side of your mat, and then I want you to line your knees up with the edge of the mat, have a block at the right side, and then just sit back on your heels. So at this stage, so we're going to do parighasana. It's a bit like trikonasana, but we do it from our knees. So the most important thing with parighasana is the base. Just like with all poses, it's keeping the base secure. So in this pose, your shins need to make really good contact with the floor. So does that extra bit of cushioning of the folded over mat, does that give you enough to press your shins fully into the floor? So it's not just, if that's your shin, it's not just the, like the top part of the shin. What about the bottom part of the shin and the middle of the shin? Press them down. Now, if you can't connect the shins to the floor all the way across, then unfold a blanket and then kneel on that. So have a folded blanket. Just have a folded blanket so that you can kneel on that instead, and what I'm doing with this blanket. And then kneel on there. Your toes might hang off the edge, but keep the shins really firmly down. So the shins connecting to the floor really help to keep the pose grounded. So shins connected to the floor, really, really important. Then the real test of whether you can keep your shins down is when you come up onto your knees, keep the shins pressing down. Now at this stage, if you find that those shins do leave the floor, you come back down and use the blanket. So my shins immediately lifted then, so I'm gonna have the blanket folded just enough so that my feet are still on there as well. So just a little bit of extra cushioning underneath your shins should help you to keep your shins down. So just try that again. Come up and press the shins into the floor with just a little bit of cushioning. Maybe you can press the shins more firmly down onto the floor. Then bring your right knee forwards. Keep that left shin pressing into the floor along the entirety of the shin bone. Then bring the right foot out to the side so that your knee and your foot are in line. So you're using the end of the edge of the mat to align yourself. And then get this thigh to turn a little from the big toe side to the little toe side. Then stretch away. Bring the foot onto the block. But you want a little bit of a slant here. You don't want to be out like this. You want a little bit of a slant inwards. So just make sure that that slides away enough so that there's a slight incline here. Turn this thigh, keep that back shin pressing down into the floor, keep the left hand on the hip, and then slide the left hand away. Turning the chest up to face the ceiling. Keep that left shin really firmly connected to the floor. And then reach up with the right hand and over. You get this tremendous stretch along the left side of the body. If you can, you turn the palm up to face the ceiling, lengthen the arm along the shin, keep turning the chest and reach up and over. Just make sure that that hand is directly over your foot. Look underneath the armpit. Keep that back shin pressing firmly down. Parighasana. Okay, come back to the center and then come back onto your knees. And then just observe your energy. So quite strong, but you get this deep stretch along the side of the body. Okay, we're going to swap everything around. So fold over the right side of your mat, put the blanket, if you're using it, on the right side of the mat, and then stretch out the left side of your mat. And have the block on the left side of the mat. So get your equipment into position and then sit with your knees in line with the edge of your mat. Just spend a moment just to re-establish yourself, re-establish your shins with the floor. So if you're really honest with yourself, could you keep that shin down on the other side? Could you keep that left shin down as you were stretching over? You have to really consciously acknowledge it. You have to really consciously activate it. So come up onto your knees. Keep the shins down. Keep pressing them into the floor. Bring the left knee forwards. And then bring that foot out to the side. Turning this thigh from the big toe side to the little toe side. So consciously get hold of it and turn it. So that's the action of trikonasana, isn't it? And stretch across, bring your foot onto the block with a slight, sorry, a bit too wide I think, a slight incline here, lift up into the chest. Turn the chest as you slide the left hand down the mat. Keep that right shin pressing into the floor, not just the knee, pressing the shin into the floor. Turning the chest, keeping the right shoulder stretching towards the back of the room, and then reach up and over. If you can, you turn the palm. We're trying to reach the big toe. If you can reach the big toe, then go for it, but not without. You can probably reach the big toe and lose the pose. So feel that extension along the right side of the body. Keep turning the chest up to face the ceiling, look underneath the armpit. Okay, come back to the center and then sit back on your heels. Just observe the energy that you have released through your practice so far. And then come off your lift, just take the blanket away, just move it out of the way, stretch out your mat again, and then just come onto all fours. Spread the fingers, spread the palms, turn your toes under, and then come back up into dog down. Is there any difference in your dog down? Does it feel different in any way? Focus on maintaining the breath. Keep the spine long, not collapsing into itself. Lift from the hands into the armpits, into the wrists, so that you lengthen the spine. Press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the heels start to separate. And focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Observe if the body feels any different. Maybe where there was an aggravation, perhaps that aggravation feels less pointed or intense. Just listen to the breath. Okay, come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels. And just observe the rising energy that you have created through your practice so far. Come down into supta, baddha konasana. So down onto your back. Have the soles of the feet together. The knees fall apart. If you've got stiff hips, then you can put blocks on the outsides of your thighs to support them. But sometimes it's better to before you go to those blocks, just to stamp the heels together. Press the outside edge of the foot together. Turn the tailbone in, and it creates compactness in your hips. Maybe that's not sustainable. Maybe you need the blocks on the outsides of the thighs. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Stretch your arms to the ceiling. Hook the thumbs together like you're doing a butterfly silhouette. Lengthen the arms away and then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, put a block or a folded blanket underneath your hands. Otherwise, keep stamping the heels together, stamping the outside edge of the feet together, and consciously lengthening into your arms. Breathe even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Listen to the breath. Swap the interlock of the fingers, keep splaying the arms, splaying the palms even. Keeping the feet consciously pressing together. Lengthening those side ribs, lengthening the hands continually away from the head. Maintaining evenness of action along both sides of the torso. From the hips into the armpits, into the arms, into the hands, into the palms, into the fingertips, into the fingernails. And then release your arms, rest your hands on your lower ribs, let the legs relax. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just letting the body rest into the floor. So letting the body become gentle into the pose. And then bring your knees together, pull your knees in towards your chest, have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then rock yourself up into a seated position. You might roll onto your side first, just rock yourself up. I want you to get yourself a belt and then come back down onto your back. So stretch your legs along the floor, just have the belt in your hand, and then do Tadasana along the floor. Just stretch your arms along the sides of the body, do Tadasana along the floor, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Keep the left leg where it is. Bend the right foot and hook the right foot into the belt. Hook the belt around the ball joint of the foot. Turn the front of the floor leg inwards from the little toe side to the big toe side. Turn the lifted leg in the same direction so that you turn the fronts of the legs inwards, so that the backs of the legs turn outwards. Lengthen from the right armpit into the right hip, which is almost a juxtaposition with that turn, that thigh turn. Feel that the hips are level. Get the legs straight. If you struggle to straighten the leg, then just have the leg further away from the face. But keep it straight. Straight legs are extended legs. Bent knees prevent extension. So supta padangusthasana 1. Keep that left leg really firmly pressing. Try and get the back of the thigh onto the floor. Keep that back leg, that floor leg pressing down into the floor. Take hold of both ends of the belt with your right hand. Rest your left hand on your left hip. And then bend your elbow out in line with your shoulder, keeping that left leg really firm as you do so. Bring that right leg over to the side, bringing the big toe out in line with your ear. The aim isn't to bring the foot to the floor. You shouldn't be able to bring the foot to the floor. If you can bring the foot to the floor, you're either cheating or you've just snapped your pelvis. Hopefully it's not the second one. Keep stretching into that left leg. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Keeping both legs dead straight. Keeping that right thigh, right hip away from the right armpit. Lengthening into that side. Okay, raise the leg back to the center. Unhook the foot. Just stretch the leg along the floor and then relax into the ground. Now you'll probably observe a distinct difference in feeling in the legs. The right leg maybe feels like it's sunk into the ground more than the left. Which of course it hasn't, unless your floor is deeply uneven. But it shows you how we've energized one leg more than the other. Maybe that right leg feels longer than the left. Unfortunately, that's just an energy rather than actually lengthening our legs. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And then come back into Tadasana along the floor. Have the inner edge of the feet together, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, tightening the kneecaps. And then bend the left foot, hook the belt around that left foot, and then have the belt around the ball joint of the left foot. Straighten the legs, turning the fronts of the legs inwards, the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lengthening from the left armpit into the left hip so that the hips are level. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So this leg should just be at 12 o'clock, pointing directly to the ceiling. You shouldn't be trying to pull the foot over your head. Keep the legs firm. Reach towards the foot as much as you can, holding both ends of the belt with your left hand. Put your right hand on your hip so that the hip stays in position on the right hip. And then bend your elbow out in line with your shoulder, trying to bring the big toe out in line with your ear. Keep that right leg really firmly activated, turning the front of the thigh inwards, pressing the back of the thigh down into the floor. Pressing the knee, tightening the kneecaps, bringing that leg out to the side. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Again, that foot shouldn't be on the floor. If it is, then you're probably cheating or there's a serious injury involved. Draw the abdomen away from that leg, from the left to the right. Keep the legs straight, never bending the knee. And then bring that leg back to the center, release the foot, and then just relax your legs into the floor and just relax your arms into the floor. Relax the body into the floor. Again, just observing how your body has changed, how your energy has changed, how maybe your body feels like a glowing beacon of energy. So filled with conscious lightness that radiates through the skin. And then draw your knees in toward your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then gently roll over onto your right side. And then stretch out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. And then just get a couple of blocks and then come into virasana. Have the knees together, feet apart, get the thumbs right into the backs of the knees and draw the calf flesh out to the side. Just sitting back on the blocks. Not everyone needs to sit on the blocks. You might be able to sit between the feet down on the floor. So if you can, then do, but otherwise just stay on the lift. The lift might not be high enough, so put a folded blanket on top of the lift. Just have whatever feels right for you. Just feel how in virasana you can lift the chest more than you can in cross legs. Just have your hands and interlock your fingers. So the interlock that you will naturally have gone to, I want you to do the opposite of so I want you to, whichever index finger is on the top of the stack, just swap it around, because we did the other interlock earlier on. So the other interlock, so the other index finger on the top of the stack, and then turn the palms out, squeeze the elbows in, and then raise your arms up. Lengthen from the hips into the armpits, into the palms. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side. Parsva, virasana. And then come back to the center. And then turn to the left. And then gently come back to the center. Release your arms. Just unhook the fingers. Rest your hands on the thighs, palms facing upwards. Index fingers in contact with the thumbs. And just observe your energy. Close your eyes for a moment. Observe the energy that you have released in the shoulders and in the arms and in the chest. And in the hips, in the thighs, in the shins, in the feet. Draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. Lift the chest up to meet the chin. drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Just take a few deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Okay, and then raise your head, just looking forwards, and just come up onto your knees, and then turn around if you need to, and then just turn your toes under and come up into dog down. Your legs might be a little reluctant to straighten after virasana, but I want you to bring the heels down, just working it with sensitivity with your own body. So not pushing yourself into the pose before you're ready. Just feel that deep stretch at the backs of the calves. Even if we're doing the wrong things with the rest of the legs, just feel the calves stretch. So I was reading an article the other day about how the calf muscle is the secondary heart. It makes sure that the blood from the feet and from the legs defies gravity, drawing it up to the heart. And our muscles are there to help the lymph travel around the lymphatic system, to keep the body healthy, to support the immune system. So by extending every muscle of the body, we're benefiting our immune system deeply. So we're circulating the lymphatic system, which doesn't have a pump in the sense of a heart. It's the muscle action that circulates lymph fluid through the lymphatic system. So yoga is a boon for our immune system. Okay, come down onto your knees, and then finally come down. Have a folded blanket for underneath your head. And then guide yourself down in a good straight line right down the centre of your mat. Just for the last couple of minutes, just allow yourself to make sure you're in a straight line. Allow yourself to completely release into the floor. Let the muscles soften. Let the arm and the leg muscles unhook from the bones so that the body becomes heavy on the floor. As you let the body become heavy, observe that feeling of inner lightness that radiates from the bones, filling and illuminating the muscles, radiating into the organs, into the flesh and the skin. so that the body radiates with positive energy from the bones into the muscles, into the organs. To the flesh and the skin, using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness, internal, radiating lightness down into the toes and into the fingertips and all the way up into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, and then bend your knees in towards your chest. Pull your knees in towards your chest and have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then very gently roll over onto your right side, stay down for a breath or two. And then straightening out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just cross legs with your hands in the masti, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. Be conscious of the energy that you've released around the heart area, that good positive energy that you've released through your practice. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. Gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Connecting the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry with us into our day as an intention. Gently raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel nice and relaxed, full of good positive energy, and you've got lots of good energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining.